Thank you for joining us today. My name is Bishwadeep Roy. On behalf of Department of Commerce and IQAC, Prasanta, Chandra, Mahalanobis, Mahavidyalaya, I welcome all the participants to today's webinar on impact of COVID-19 pandemic on global and Indian economy. Just a little reminder before we get started, if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. I will bring them up at the end of the presentation. Now, without further delay, I will invite Dr. Parthasarathi Datta, Head of Department of Commerce, Prasanta Chandra Mahalanobis Mahavidyalaya, for the welcome address. Parthada, please.
Good morning, everybody. Respected Principal Sir, Dr. Shyamol Karmakar, our Honorable Speaker, Professor Binoy Bhushan Chakraborty Sir, IQAC Coordinator Madam, Mentor Professor K.P. Jana Sir, my fellow members of the teaching fraternity from our institution and other institutions, guests from various corporate sectors, and my dear students, I, on behalf of the organizing committee, welcome you to the webinar on today's topic, Impact of COVID-19 pandemic on global and Indian economy. We are fortunate to have with us Professor Binoy Bhushan Chakraborty, an internationally acclaimed scholar whose lecture will be a treasure trove for us. I express my gratitude to Professor Shogat Roy, Professor Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata, who introduced us to Professor Chakraborty Sir. Now I declare the session to be opened and hand over the microphone to Mr. Bishwadeep Roy, the energetic convener of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Shyamol Karmakar, Principal, Prasanta Chandra Mahalanobis Mahavidyalaya, to deliver the inaugural speech. Sir.
Hello. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir. You are visible.
Good morning, everybody. In this cloudy weather of rainy season, which is consistent to recent global economy and Indian economy. But we are not hopeless. Periodically, sunlight speaking from the cloud. And I, Dr. Shyamol Karmakar, Principal of Prasanta Chandra Mahalanobis Mahavidyalaya, it is a moment of great privilege and honor for me to extend a hearty welcome to all of you, students and participants today at this significant webinar. I find immense pleasure in introducing our guest professor, Binoy Bhushan Chakraborty. On behalf of our college, I have the great pleasure to welcome him. Department of Commerce of our college has organized this national level webinar, Impact on COVID-19 Pandemic on Global and Indian Economy, in collaboration with IQAC of our college. We are very much grateful that Professor Chakraborty has agreed to join as a resource person in this webinar. Professor Chakraborty is a mechanical engineer from Jadavpur University, Calcutta, and PGDM from IIM Calcutta, cost accountant from the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and PhD in economics from Jadavpur University, Calcutta. He has earlier worked in the industry for 24 years, primarily in the manufacturing and financial services sector in GKW, Metalbox, Nagarjuna Group, Eventar, and Nico Yuko as President, General Manager, and other senior positions. His area of interest in research is corporate finance, international finance, financial intermediation, financial derivatives, financial markets, asset pricing, capital management, risk management, and profit center management. The outbreak of pandemic COVID-19 all over the world has disturbed political, social, economic, religious, and financial structures of the whole world. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, several countries across the world resorted to lockdowns to flatten the curve of the infection. These lockdowns mean confining millions of citizens to their homes, shutting down business, and ceasing almost all economic activity. according to the International Monetary Fund, the global economy is expected to shrink by over 3% in 2020, in steepest slowdown since the Great Depression of the 1930s. Keeping in view this staggering situation, G20 nations called an emergency meeting to discuss worsening conditions and prepare a strategy to combat COVID-19 as losses could be reduced. The spread of the epidemic is picking up speed and causing more economic damages. It also observed that the economic recovery from the fatal disease is only possible by 2021 because it has left severe impacts on the global economy. The countries face multiple difficulties to bring it back in a stable condition. Most of the nations are going through recession and collapse of their economic structure. That points out the staggering conditions for them. In this regard, almost 80 countries have already requested International Monetary Fund for financial help. Concerning the serious and worsening conditions all over the world, nations need cooperation and coordination among themselves, including the help, mature as well as sensible behavior of people to effectively fight against coronavirus. Otherwise, because of the globalized and connected world, wrong actions and policies taken by any state will leave a severe impact on other countries as well. This is not the time of political point scoring and fight with each other. Rather, it is high time for states to incorporate, coordinate, and help each other to defeat this fatal pandemic, first for saving the global economic and financial structures. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I will hand over the session to Professor Binay Bhushan Chakraborty, our honorable speaker. Sir, over to you.
Yeah. Good morning to all of you, Dr. Kormokar, Dr. Dotto, Dr. Roy, and the team from your IT, and also the participants in this program. Well, thank you very much for inviting me and to deliver this particular small presentation. And the college's name is Prasanta Mahalanobis Mahavidyalaya, and that itself is great. And we are very high. The PC Mahalanobis is held in very high regard by all of us, and you bear the name. So obviously, responsibility is also a lot to deliver something significant at this point of time. Well, since the time is very limited, so let me not move around here and there and straight go to the topic proper. Well, see, pandemics have happened in the world, as Professor Kormokar was talking about, and not the first time that we see any such problem. And also pandemics have happened where solutions were not there initially, and especially the swine flu in 1920. So we had these problems, but right now we are the recipients, and so obviously it's affecting all of us, our livelihood. And so let's spend some time on trying to understand what exactly is happening. I hope all of you can see the material which is in front of me. And what I will do at the end, this material I can forward to Professor Roy, and it can be sent out to whoever is concerned. Now, to start with, one doesn't exactly know when the problem started, but 31st December 2019, China...
Your material is not visible, sir.
So, what do I do? Share the screen? That's already shared. Is already shared.
Sir, you can stop the stop share and again restart sharing.
Okay, stop share and again restart. Yes, Sudeepa, you can tell us what exactly to be done now. Is this visible now?
No, sir.
So what do I do? Again, get into the Zoom, log out and log in again.
You can you have to just share screen only. You have to just press
share screen.
that the monsoon, this word is a
See, that's what I was asking you. I think let me get in again. Let me get in again. That's the only thing I can do now. That's what I was asking you, whether visible or not.
Okay, sir, then you may rejoin if you want.
That's what I'm trying.
Okay, sir.
No, wait.
Now it is showing actually the Chrome now. Yes, sir. Yes.
Can you see the material now?
You have
No,
to
sir.
switch the application.
Yes,
You
sir.
just go to the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I've done. Here's the PowerPoint. Is the material visible now?
No, sir, just Zoom screen.
Minimize, please minimize the Zoom screen.
Just 1 second. New share. Huh? Click on that or what? New share. Click on
No,
new
sir.
share.
You have to minimize the Chrome window. Just you have to minimize the Chrome window that you have opened the browser, that you have to minimize. Then we can see the PowerPoint window.
Chrome window to be minimized. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now is it okay? Your screen sharing is paused.
Sir, একটা fixed screen share করছেন মানে you
Your
have to
screen sharing is paused. So what is to be done?
Sir, you can again stop sharing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
It's visible now? It's
Yes,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir. It is okay.
Okay, so let's move around. So the time is very limited. So I hope you'll be able to see now. So officially, as we know that who got the first information on 31st of December 2019 from China. But there are views that China had known this little before also. Anyway, so we have to go by the official version. 30th January, who declared that this is going to be a major problem. And so the view was that there was a seafood market in Wuhan, and from there probably it actually moved into the human beings. So animal to human being, that probably is the reason why this happened. But of course, there are other views also. 11th March 2020, it was declared as a pandemic. So our country probably definitely came to know by 11th March or maybe before also, because the Deputy Director General is actually an Indian. So anyway, but we probably started taking action after 11th March because the international flights were all on, and you all may be remembering that we had one-day problem, and then actually so our response actually started after it was declared pandemic. So anyway, so we are victim now as of 1st July 2020, when I got the material done. More than 1 crore people have been affected in 188 countries and territories, and more than 5 lakh people have already died. And also, of course, more than 53 lakhs or maybe more now, people have recovered. So it's not that everybody is dying. Recovered. If you look at the WHO statistics, and this is an interesting presentation. You can see over here that at this point of time, the worst affected are essentially America and other countries like India, Brazil, etc. Europe, it has slowed down quite a lot. The yellow line you can see quite a lot, it has slowed down. China, practically it is over. That also you can see now. With China, the blue line is hardly there anymore. So essentially, it's not that recovery has not taken place. China has recovered. Europe also probably has recovered, but for a few countries. And the others like our country, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and so on, and America, and Brazil. You know, some of these countries are actually still now, very much affected. The overall, the line is actually 45-degree moving up. So with time, as you can see, so this is an alarming situation. So we need to consider this particular fact. If you look at some data, 1st July 2020, and I had already talked about the world. India at that point of time, close to 6 lakh people had contracted, and of course, 3.5 lakhs people had recovered also, and about 18,000 people had died. Now the numbers have gone up a little bit. As far as our state is concerned, at that point of time, 19,000 people were affected, and more than 668 people had died. And still now dangerous in our state now. And you know that recently more lockdown has been announced. So it's a serious matter because one doesn't know the solution. And so that's the main reason why it is dangerous and creating a lot of trouble. Now let's move to the economic issues. See, the casualty in the game has been the demand. And as it is in many countries, Europe and other places, demands are anyway down. But then demand is down throughout the world now. The goods and services seriously affected. And that you can see straightway in the oil price. Let me show you the oil price. The Brent crude oil price has gone down to, say around $40, $42 from a level of $65. So about 1/3 down. Now, it's an indication of the global economy. Straightway, it's an indication of global economy. So industrial activity affected, transportation affected, aviation affected. So naturally, oil demand will go down. And so oil prices have fallen, as you can see, and 61 to 42 on June 20. And transportation sector consumes about 60% of the oil. So with aviation, trains, and buses not being in the area, so naturally the oil prices will fall. Almost, this is the summary of you can take the summary from here itself, the oil price. Almost, of course, you see oil prices in India going up for diesel and petrol. That's for a very different reason. Government is trying to claw back as much as possible from the consumers of petrol and diesel, but that's a separate issue. Now, almost all sectors have been affected. Industry, you all know. Agriculture also has been affected. Investments in agriculture is not taking place. And forests produce, they're also infrastructure investments are not taking place. Tourism, all of you can anticipate. Transportation, you know. Retailing, badly affected all over. And aviation, even Air Asia and India is trying to close down, and many hotels have closed down. Even education is affected because the enrollment is going down. And healthcare, we think, should be doing well, not really, because even there the investment for infrastructure and development is not there at all. They're simply trying to take care of the COVID patients. And then, so it has, if you look at the problem of COVID-19, you look at this slide. Now, 91 in India, we had the liberalization, and the world was also having some difficulty. That time you can see the blue line shows the GDP forecast, world GDP forecast at that point of time. 2009 was the financial crisis time. So that time also we had suffered. And if you all remember, 2009, 8, 10, took about 4 years to get back from 2009 problem. 2012, actually, we were back to some sort of normalcy. But 2020, it's very steep fall. Very steep fall, that's what you can see. So it's actually a problem we have not witnessed At least those who are, say now 1930 we had problem, but last almost in the 80, 70, 80 years, hardly any of these difficulties were there. So steepest fall, and in this particular situation, the COVID-19 recession that you see over here has been the fastest, steepest, and since 1990. And of course, people say the Great Depression also we had great difficulties, but of course those are matters of the past now. The recent memory you can take from after Second World War. This has been the largest problem or the biggest problem that the economy had. Now, oil price and this consensus GDP forecasts that you can see. Now, all these things you can get from IMF site, and not that these are original material. Sources are all IMF, essentially IMF forecasts which have been used over here. Now, if you look at the GDP growth rate projections, see IMF twice in the year, once in April, once in October, provides the projections. Their projections are current year, next year, and these projections are there. Previous year, current year, and next year. All the time you'll get. So IMF World Economic Outlook, if you have a look, you can get these projections. But this time, after April, once again in June, IMF announced another revision of their forecast. Normally they do twice in a year, April and October, but this time in June also, once again they have done that. So based on that June information, whatever they have provided, and I am presenting to you this particular document. Now, what you can see, world actually roughly grows around 3%, roughly. So that's why you always say the future generation is much more, will be happier, because the world as a whole is growing. World as a whole is growing. Some countries may not be growing, but many other countries are growing. So that you can see roughly in 2019. The world growth around 2.93%. This has been roughly the growth in the world, and that's why perpetual growth rate in all calculations is 2 to 3%. Reason is this, and you can see most of the economies were doing pretty all right. Now, for USA, for example, 2.3% is a very good growth, and on the high base. And China has been doing pretty all right, though of course they're no more doing at 10%, but 6% is also pretty good because they have already grown quite a lot. And the countries which are not doing all the time, most of the time not very well, the European countries, but they still had positive growth rate. Germany was faltering, but France was, yes, Italy, but still they had all positive figures. Japan is stagnating, we all know, but then even then they had a positive growth rate in 2019. Now, as far as India is concerned, 4.2, that's the figure we have from IMF for the year 2019, is already low. And various reasons, many of you must be knowing or also might have deliberated in the classroom itself. We had demonetization issues, we had the GST issues. So systematically our growth rate was going down. So 4.2, nothing much to talk about, but that's the sort of figure we had in 2019. So pre-pandemic itself, India was in some sort of economic trouble pre-pandemic. And this is what is I would like to highlight, that pandemic has only intensified the problem. It's not that we were having 8%, 10% growth rate, and not that. So there are weaknesses in the economy which was discovered in 2018, 19, and that's still going on. See, the growth rate has not been going up at all. So anyway, at this point of time, we are not getting into all those reasons why we had 4.2, but then that's the base at which we are right now, have been till about the last quarter of 2019. Now, 2020, this year, almost everybody will be negative. China might this is all projection in June. So after June, you have the whole year to go, or more than half year to go. So China, there is a figure of 1%, but rest of all the countries that you can see, they will be in trouble, very big trouble. And the world as a whole will go down to -5%. And so 3 to -5, so almost 8% drop. And that's a very sizable recession, India likely to June projection is 4.5% negative. USA will be, this is the election year, and they'll be badly down by to 8%, -8%. And Germany is also around -8%. UK very badly down, 10%. And Italy, you heard a lot about Italy, because Italy was in the forefront of the European pandemic issue, and that -13%. So -13%, meaning really serious trouble. And even Japan, of course, also will be having great difficulties, close to 6%. So these figures make us very apprehensive, how things will really move over this time. And so anyway, we'll discuss what is there. Some hope is also there at the end. So almost all economies will be badly affected in this particular crisis. 21, as of June 2020, predictions are slightly better, but slightly better. Now you can see from 2.9 world as a whole, you go down to -5, then go back to 5. So basically, and this is all CAGR, as the compounded annual growth rate. So probably will be back at the 2019 level in 2021. So 2 years from the human history is literally gone from the economic sense. And so what we were, the situation in 2019, probably end of 2021 will be in a similar situation, probably. These are rough figures. Figures are subject to change over time. But as of June 2020, that's all we can talk about. India, there is a forecast that we might again recover, or will recover, but the figure may be around 6%. But then the base is going down this year. So from there, 6%. So again, probably will be back to 2019 level. So most of the economies, but USA will not be back. And USA drives the global economy in a big way. If they're down 8% this year, next year 4.5%, they unlikely they will go back to 2019 level. Probably they'll go back to 2018 level. And if their demand goes down, we also will be affected. We depend a lot on them, especially our services sector. They depend a lot on the North American business. China might see a growth, good growth, but then a lot of sentiments are against China at this point of time. How they will shape up, how the different countries will try to actually take their production out of China, or the business out of China. All these will, of course, affect China later. These are not very clear at this point of time. But if the same way things continue, then China might see good recovery. And so let's see how it works, because sentiments are against China, especially in Europe and USA and many of the American or the Asian and Latin American countries. So that's the way. Germany might bounce back probably 2017 level. So from their economic years, 2-3 years have gone literally. UK will not be able to recover even in 2021. If these figures are good, they might take even longer to get back to 2019 level. Italy, very bad as it is. Italy's economy is in bad shape. for various reasons, and the and and so now it might take few more years, 3-4 years probably to take before they are even back to 2019 level. Japan also similar, something can be said, because the fall in 2020 is so big that 2021 they'll not be able to recover. Normally, this economic cycle, we have different economic cycles, but from market point of view, we normally take around 3 to 4 years. So one doesn't know, probably it will take in some cases 3-4 years, some cases 2 years, but 2-3 years are literally gone in the pandemic problem. That I hope you can realize and you can understand from there. So we move from here and try to see what has been the impact on Indian economy. The Indian economy, I've been telling that pre-pandemic itself, we had a lot of difficulties. And it all started for quite some time back. Demonetization, all of you know, I don't have any special view on that. And the MSME sector has been badly affected because of that at some point of time when we did that. And so we have been slowing down. And I showed you that for the year it was 4.2, for the year 4.2. But if you look at the fourth quarter of the fiscal year 2020, then actually it was 3.1. So meaning for the whole year it was 4 point something, but it was around 3% only. So pre-pandemic itself, we had a slowdown, a huge slowdown. And so that's what I'm writing here. India has been witnessing pre-pandemic slowdown for quite some time. And all the World Bank and IMF say that the current crisis has actually magnified the problem, the risks. And rating agency, the World Bank, and all of them have revised, and the figures you saw are from IMF. And last 3 decades, we have the lowest figure is in this year. Last 3 decades, so 1990 onwards, if you look at our figures, worst figure we have, that was the time of liberalization, worst figures are in this year. So 30 years, this is the worst economic situation. Anyway, now the government announced some economic package, but then the IMF further reduced. Our figure was slightly high. IMF further reduced our growth forecast. So packages have actually, meaning the money is going to some sectors, not really that productive sector. So IMF was forced to reduce or bring down the GDP estimate. So essentially, it signals deep recession in the economy. Now, if you look at the unemployment, now these data are for the government. Now, many people believe that our unemployment figure or partial unemployment figure are very high. But anyway, the government data, whatever you had or whatever we have, was around 6.7% as on 15th March. So somewhere 6 to 8, 9% is the sort of figure the government publishes for Indian unemployment. And that in the month of April, it went to 26%, 28%, huge figure. And now they say, as you all know, that migrant laborers and other people moved to their own cities, and now many of them are going back. And the unlockdown period, many industries have opened, of course, with reduced capacity. Offices have opened, services have opened. So some figure is that the unemployment rate has again gone back to the original, so around 8% level once again. So we had serious impact during that period. Estimated, these are all estimates, so you can have your own figures. Estimated 14 crore people lost employment during this figure. So salary were cut in many cases. One example I can tell you, the Noida. Noida has about 25,000, or Greater Noida has 25,000 small industries. Now they just paid salaries only up to the month of April, and after that they did not pay. The government asked them to pay, but they say that we just can't pay. We don't have the money. What do we do? And even if you tell them that actions can be taken, they say let the actions be taken. But how do we give? The household people, you all know the household help and drivers and other people. Some of us have been trying to provide them salaries, but many are not providing the salaries. So they are all actually depending on some government rice and other things, but then things are very bad. So about 14 crore people lost employment, figure maybe more also. And more than 45% households across the nation. Hello, is okay? Everything okay?
Yes, sir. You continue.
Okay. So about 45% of the household sector, they have reported the income drop. And further problem, you all know, we are not focusing at all on the aged people, on the older people, people above 60, 65. Now their income has drastically dropped. Apart from anything else, the bank rates, fixed deposit rates have gone down from close to 6.5% to 5%, 5.1%. So in fact, so many people will talk about migrant labor. I also would like to focus on the aged people, those who survive on fixed income without any new income coming to them. So that is the situation. So 45% or 50% households they have suffered because of the pandemic. Our economy size around $2.8 trillion, and during the lockdown, it's believed that only about 1/3 was functional, and 2/3 was not functional during that period of time. So you can take about 3 months. Say actually problem started in 15th of March. After that, the issue started. So April, May, June 15, roughly about 3 months, we lost about 2/3 of our three-fourths of our economic activity for 3 months. So that is the real impact which is bringing down your economic growth rate. So this is where we are, and 53% of the businesses in the country were projected to be significantly affected. Supply chains were badly disrupted, as you all know, and even the government says that essentials will be permitted. Even initially, we had a lot of difficulty even to identify what is essential, what is not. So we opened the services in Calcutta for the transportation for people, those people were not there. So anyway, initial hesitation, but later on some clarity came and things started moving. But this is the real impact on the Indian economy. Now, see this, I have already talked about the informal sector, daily wage earners. The construction sector was totally off, and then transportation sector was also completely off, and domestic people who work in the households and other, they also have not been. Even in Calcutta, they still are not coming. Our supply line is on the local trains. The local trains are still not there. So all of them are having great difficulty. Even the farmers had difficulty because the mandis were not operating. Later on, government announced that directly farmers can sell to whoever they can. So as a result, all around the formal sector, informal sector, daily wage earners, the retailers, small people, agricultural farmers and other people, all actually had some sort of great difficulty. Major company, I've given few names, you can write down many more names. They had all reported, they had temporarily they shut down, Maruti closed down their plants, and so on. So this was there. Even startups had difficulty because their funding stopped. And we have many startups these days all over the country. And these startups actually, startup meaning they're not still profitable. So naturally, in the hope of profit, they get funding from others, and that also dried down. FMCG items, because it was not considered essential. So obviously they neither were produced, nor were sold, nor were transported. And all these you can see in one picture, which is in the stock market index figure. So I show you the Sensex figure, you can have a look. See, in the month of March, Sensex was around, as you can see, roughly 41,000, 42,000. I think 41,000 something was the figure. Now, by 2nd of July, the figure is around 35,000. So 42 to 35. So huge drop, more than 15% drop. And you can see when actually we're in full swing, the pandemic problem in the month of April, in the 23rd April, I believe, yeah, or 23rd March, yeah, oh, that was 23rd March. 23rd March, we had the worst figure, I think some 25,000 or something we had. So initial reaction of the market, of the capital markets, was a knee-jerk reaction and a straight fall. And after that, some recovery, but obviously has not recovered to the fullest extent. This one particular diagram or picture actually tells you the entire story of how the economy is behaving. So this is the summary that only, say, less than a quarter was working of the economy, and businesses were closed down, households lost their income. 14 crore the people who lost their employment. So human beings, 14 crore losing employment, households losing their income, almost half. Older people losing their income in a big way, and 1/4 of the economy only functional, and so on. So this all sums up in the form of your stock market gloom. So this is roughly the impact of the pandemic on Indian economy, roughly. Now, the one major thing happened during this period, not the right thing to happen during this period. International rating agencies brought down our rating, sovereign or our foreign currency borrowing rating, which is the rating was brought down from BA2 to BA3. Now, those who know this particular subject, this rating or credit rating is not for rupee. Rupee we are risk-free, but dollar borrowing, we have a rating. That rating investment grade starts from BA3. Now, forget about AAA, AA, all those things we never achieved and unlikely to achieve in near future. We had gone from, earlier we were at BA3 only, or the lowest one. We had moved one notch, that was the BA2, but again we are brought back to BA3. Now, this is a bad sign, and the Moody's have downgraded to BA3. Others will also follow probably, and this will increase our borrowing cost in a big way. For the government, if they want to borrow, and for the corporates, if they want to from the London market or any New York market or Tokyo market, the costs will further go up. So this is another blow to the Indian economy from the outside. Now, one can go to the reasons why this thing happened, So the rating agencies have given major 6 factors or 6 reasons why they have brought it down. So BA2 to BA3. I'll just, for your information, I'll put this 6 reasons right now. According to them, the slower growth will continue for some time. And as you can see, 2 to 3 years we lost. What we were in 2019 might get back there in 2022. So that is the situation. Then government is spending 20 lakh crore, whichever way the figures, but some money is going out of government, not from infrastructure investment, going for other purposes. And just to provide the basic essentials, rice and other things to ordinary people. So government debt likely to go up. So we were at a figure of 72% of GDP, and we might move to 84%. It's manageable, but still it's going up. So we are not 100% plus. Many countries are like that. But even then, since this is going up, so meaning so much of money will not be invested in the productive sectors. It's going to other sectors just to manage the situation. Another reason being talked about is that you all know our financial sector has been already in trouble. The NPA problem, big problem. And NPA, we normally reckon NPA 1 to 2% in the banking sector. The figure is officially around 10%. And many people say if you look at the restructured asset, the figure may be much higher. So that was there, and this is likely to continue because recoveries will not be taking place in a big way. So your ILFS problem, these problems are there, and NBFC sector funding problem, SME funding problem, NPA banks losing, and in fact the banks have brought down your interest rate primarily because of these reasons. And so that's another issue what they talk about. Then they say that a lot of reforms have been identified for infrastructure, productivity, etc. Most of these will get delayed now. And so the weakness in these reforms, see, especially the labor sector, labor side reform, obviously will get further delayed. The other thing has been that, see, we all know from economics that investment is the way to develop a country. But I definitely, these people also don't think any major private sector investment will take place at this point of time. They're all trying to somehow cope with the problem and somehow trying to exist. So forget about the new investments. New investments are needed in many sectors, but I don't think, or they also don't think that will happen. The other thing is that, see, we were vulnerable. We are vulnerable even prior to the shock. And as you saw, that the fourth quarter of 2019, we just had 3.1% growth. And it came down from 7-8% to 3.1%. So obviously the economy was vulnerable. So, but then it's likely to continue and get amplified because of the pandemic. So all these reasons have been given why our rating has been brought down, and that shows that we need a lot to catch up. Now, no discussion about the pandemic or COVID-19 can be had these days without the plight of the migrant workers being seen. And all of you know this, so I'll just quickly rush through because the time is limited now. And they have faced multiple hardships. Factories, workplaces closed down, shut down. And so naturally, what do? And they had loss of income. In fact, the migrant workers were seen without any money, without any food, without any place to stay. So loss of income, food shortage, and absolute uncertainty. What will happen in future? And in fact, they went hungry also. You all know this. And in fact, even transport was not there. They started walking back. Very dangerous thing to happen. And so no transportation. Anyway, the government later on, OCA, initial view was that let them remain where they are. So all the state governments have been telling that prepare some shed and keep them there, but that didn't happen. So neither they had the money nor they had the food. So so many of them in fact died also. A reason could be starvation, reason could be suicide, reason could be exhaustion when they're moving around. And real accident, the accident that you saw in Maharashtra, and that Maharashtra or Madhya Pradesh somewhere, 14 people died. And so these were also there. And the Polish people also wanted to clamp the lockdown. They're moving around. Many of them were badly beaten. And medical care, of course, was not there. So migrant workers were at the receiving end. And that figure was a huge figure. And you all know about this. One picture, there's a very, you can get all such pictures on the net. I thought I'll take a representative picture. The child in the lap, the whatever belongings on the head, and the person moving, lady moving around. Now that's actually summarizes the plight of the migrant workers. Now, as of 3rd June, the data which I got, the government moved actually 58 lakh migrants, when they started 34 days back. And Eastern India, as you all know, economically weak, and many people move out from Eastern India to other parts of the country. In fact, West Bengal, this was not a scene earlier, but now that is a scene. You can see West Bengal tailors, all these people. You can find them in various states, especially Kerala and other places. So even maid servants are available in Bengali maid servants in all over the country now, especially Delhi, Bombay, and so on, other places. So top 5 states, as expected, UP had the largest number, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, all in the Eastern India. That also is a disturbing fact. And where they came back from are essentially the Western India and the Northern India. And so these are some figures that you can see over here. Now, they all have gone back, are going back, because initially the thought was, especially the governments have been telling, we'll provide them employment in our own state. But then, see, where do they provide the employment? So 100 days work cannot absorb so many people. Neither the money is there. So 70,000 crores spending on 100 days work obviously cannot employ, you can't employ 58 lakh or a crore migrant workers. So that's the problem that we have in this area. So they are going back now. So this is the story. Now, so I hope you have understood that economic impact have been very severe because of the pandemic. Now, I give you some summary headlines from IMF and World Bank. IMF, their June document starts with this: a crisis like no other and uncertain recovery. It actually summarizes the entire economic mood of the world. Then they write, COVID-19 crisis, more severe economic fallout than anticipated. Nobody anticipated this level of fall. And deep downturn in 2020 and sluggish recovery in 2021. World Bank also similarly says COVID-19 has triggered the deepest global recession in decades, which is over 3 decades. While the ultimate outcome is still uncertain, the pandemic will result in contractions across the vast majority of emerging market and developing economies. But developed economy also equally affected. It will also do lasting damage to labor productivity and output. So this is what actually is the summary. And this is one diagram which you can see world output. I have talked about this, and very severe drop. You can see the world as a whole is a blue line, navy blue line, and the sky blue line is the advanced economy, and they are actually suffering hell of a lot. And emerging economy is the red line, and China is the yellow line. China has suffered, but likely to bounce back earlier than other countries. So this is roughly the mood in the world. Now, what do we do now? Well, obviously, work is on. People are trying their level best. And unless the vaccine comes, COVID-19 pandemic impact will not stop. But then when that will come, one doesn't know as of now. So immediate, all countries are trying this at this point of time. The human suffering they're trying to reduce to the extent possible. And they're trying to get back the economic, from the economic losses. So all countries, the packages, etc., all are basically for this particular purpose. and no developmental activity, excepting the current situation. Human beings are suffering. Economic activities have gone down just to get back all those things. That's all the countries have been trying all over the world. And once the crisis finally slows down, then of course we need a commitment. Your principal also had mentioned about this. Commitment for sustainable policies and reforms. Longer term, we again get back to the growth path. And that might take, depending on the country, 2, 3, 4 years, not before that. And so global coordination, cooperation will be very critical. And on top of that, now the problem has come, China problem. So one wished that such problem was not there. So China, their expansion policy or whatever it is, now many countries are getting into against them, and let's see how things actually shape up. So what is necessary for recovery is a global coordination and cooperation. This is very important, and how that will, in what form that will come, we'll have to see over time. And hope is there. We have already talked about 2021, our GDP growth rate is forecast at 6% as of June 2020. So if that happens, we'll probably get back to 2019 level. So 2 years are gone. Suppose this further get delayed, then maybe another year will go. So 2 to 3 years of economic, actually the economy will not be back to 2019 level before 2 or 3 years. So that's the situation. So that is the impact and some issues which I thought I will make in this presentation, short presentation, and it's already around 12 o'clock. So thank you very much for patiently listening to me. And in case there is any question, I hope it will add to your knowledge. And this material anyway, I'll be sending to Professor Roy, and he can give it to you, whoever is interested. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening, insightful, and information-rich speech. We'll take time for a few questions now. So I'll read out the first question.
Yeah.
The first question is, how is it expected that India's GDP...
I can't hear you. Voice.
Vishwadip sir, you are muted. Now it is okay.
Now okay.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, now okay. Tell me.
Yep. So first question is, how is it expected that India's GDP rate will go up by 10.5%? That is from minus 4.5 to plus 6.
Yeah. See, how expected?
How is it expected? What is the basis of this expectation?
Yeah, so
he's asking.
To go through the IMF World Outlook, published in June 2020, you can see on the net itself. So the responses which have been taken, and based on that, these figures are from there only. It's not that the figures are from my side. And as of now, they have made this projection that it will go back. So see, a lot of things are happening also in India, not that nothing is happening. Say, for example, the banking sector, the recoveries are taking place, and we are trying to make investments, especially in the public sector. Lots of opening up is taking place. So some of these things will happen. So, but then exactly, precisely whether it will be 6 or 7 or 5, one doesn't know. We have to depend on IMF data. All the experts that you see around, people talking about figures, they all actually take IMF data only. So it's not, nobody has prepared their own data. So I request all of you, whoever is concerned, you just go to the Google website and search for IMF World Economic Outlook, World Economic Outlook by IMF. You'll get a document, the regional information, you'll get this figure. They have given enough reasons why they have talked about this sort of a figure. So that is the answer I have. Anyway, next.
Okay, and sir, his second question is in the same line. So this reforms, it will come from which sector basically? Is it from agriculture or SSI or big industries?
No. See, reforms. See, the government see, I'm not a spokesman for the government, nor I'm anti-government. So let me just highlight few issues only. So it's not proper on my part, neither to criticize, not to say anything. See, what we see now, a lot of opening up is taking place. A lot of private sector initiative is being allowed. So you can see now coal sector, they have done some liberalization. Now all liberalizations are bad. We should not be having that idea. So, and then the transportation, road sector, a lot of investments are taking place. So some of these issues, some labor reform, they might take, so might take, one doesn't know. So, sorry. So as such, opening up the private sector investment, say foreign investments to come into this country, all these together finally probably will see something through. So one clearly can't see, if you do this, the economy will grow by 1%. There's no formula like that. It's a perception based. Whenever these projections are made, many a time these are perception based, survey based figures. So in fact, we also take part in some perception based survey for various things in the world, so we do that. So it's like that. So you can't really point out, this is the reason why 6% will take place. Okay. See, one good thing I must say for the benefit of the young people. Now, well, I am now, we're aged people, so around 70 now. When we were very young, the India's population growth rate was 2.5%. That growth rate has come down to below 1.5. Now, this is a major factor which has happened, which will actually give you the higher growth over time. And the population is, now we can have one more webinar on these issues. And so then we can discuss many other aspects which actually lead to the growth of the economy. So yeah, anyway, we leave it there. Then anything else?
Okay. One last question. It is basically, the participant has asked for your opinion that, how far government will reduce the FD interest rates, as this is the only source of income for a large portion of the aged population.
So it's all my guessing. See,
yes,
I have been saving in FDs also, and some years back we had around 11, 12, 13% also the FD rate. It's come down to 5%. 5%. Now, FD rates, how much is it in US? It's 0.5%. So Canada, about half to 1% is the bank, time deposit rates. Now, our problem is see, we do not have social security like other countries. See, our social security earlier was the joint family. And so the joint family in India was taken care of. Then when the joint family, actually more or less has vanished, some families are still there. Children have been also our fallback. So government-backed social security, food as well as the shelter and the other needs are not there to that extent in our country. Even the medical is not there. If all of us want government medical facility in the hospital, government hospitals, there is no space available to provide that. So this is the situation. So that was putting us back. And in fact, you all know PPF rates and EPFO rates, we had kept around somewhere close to 8%. That was going on for quite some time. And now, but the industry has been always demanding that they reduce this rate because it doesn't give any parity with the other economy. In fact, China, we are talking about China that we won't import anymore. But the most of the products from China are actually costing less to the extent by 20 to 30%. Electrical machinery is the largest item we are bringing. The cost difference is around 30%. Now, so one of the things the industry has been talking about, reduce our borrowing rate. So we have counter pressures. One pressure from the older people or the deposit, deposit using people, they need higher rates. On the other hand, industry needs a lower rate, and the government has been gradually, consistently trying to reduce the rate. So where it will finally go, already 5% is too low for now. My guess is that might remain stabilized at 5% for some time, but I'm not astrologer. Obviously, we can't tell you how long it will last. But below 5, there will be social impact, huge social impact. Even at 5, there's a huge social impact. And those who have a saving up, say today, I don't know how much time you have. Today, to run a family, ordinary way, you need around 20,000 rupees, just food and something. 20,000 meaning you divide by say 5%. 20,000 meaning 2.4 lakhs. 2.4 lakhs is 5%. So somebody needs 48 lakhs of investment. So how many people have that? So how many people have that? So these are the issues. So one has to think about, and joint family has gone. Children are also in different places. To some extent, they're supporting. And so these difficulties greatly there. Medical expenses have gone up. So my guess, for some time, it will remain at 5%. How long? I won't make any guess like that. But below 5, it will be difficult. But we have been thinking below 6 will be difficult. It has already come down to 5. Okay, anything else?
Okay, sir. So with this, we have come to the end of the interactive session. Now I will invite Dr. Kamala Mitra, IQAC coordinator, Prasanta Chandra Mahalanobis Mahavidyalaya, to deliver the vote of thanks. Kamala ma'am, please.
1 second, how many participants you had in total?
Samrat, please tell the number.
Right now, total we have 92 participants.
90.
But the entire session we have almost 120.
And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where? All are yours?
Right now, 92. Right now.
Yeah, some have left. So these people came from
Yes,
where?
sir. Yes, sir. Some have left.
Students?
Yes,
They
sir.
are from which location?
Yeah.
From which location they are?
Sir, right now it is very much difficult to say that from where they are.
No, I'm
because
not asking that. Are they all your students and professors, or other people also? That's the only thing.
No, sir. They are from different colleges and different
Okay.
institutions.
Okay.
They are from different colleges and different institutions.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, please carry on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Kamala ma'am, please deliver the vote of thanks.
Madam,
Madam, you are
unmute
muted.
your-
Madam,
Yeah.
please unmute yourself.
Unmute. Yes, ma'am.
Good noon to all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You
Yes,
are
ma'am.
audible.
You are audible.
On behalf of IQAC, I take the opportunity to convey my heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. Shamol Karmakar, for his continuous support to organize such a webinar. On behalf of organizing team, I would like to convey deep sense of gratitude to our honorable speaker, Professor Binoy Bhushan Chakraborty, for his interesting and valuable lecture. I am thankful to him for his kind acceptance of our invitation despite of his busy schedule. This is an absolute pleasure and honor for us to host him. I express my thankfulness to our dear participants who have turned up in such a great number. Without them, webinar was not possible. My special thanks to our entire technical team, Faculty of Computer Science Department, for their continuous support to make this webinar successful. I also thankful to Dr. Partho Sarathi Datto and entire team of Commerce Department for organizing this beautiful session. Hope all you enjoyed the session well and enriched yourself with valuable information. And finally, thank you to all. Sir, finally, thank you to you also. Very much thankful. Thank you,
very
Vishnu.
much. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Kana ma'am, and thank you, honorable speaker, sir, and thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Yeah. So, do you need this material to be sent?
Yes, sir. Some of the participants are
Yeah, please, sir. You.
requesting for that.
I'll send it to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
So,
Thank you,
I
sir.
close down now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please close down. You forward it to my ID, sir.
Right, I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, end করছি।
বিশ্বদীপ স্যার মিটিং এন্ড করলাম তাহলে।
End করছি। স্যার পিএইচডি স্যার
হ্যাঁ,
করবেন?
leave করে দিলাম আমি।
Thank you to all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.